As the great floodwaters began to recede, a world cleansed and silenced lay beneath the ark. It was a moment of profound transition, a bridge between a drowned past and a hopeful future. Noah, a man of great patience, stood at the precipice of this new beginning. After 40 days adrift upon the still waters, he sought a sign that the earth was ready to welcome life once more. It was here, in this pivotal moment, that he made his first choice. He did not send the gentle dove, a symbol of peace we often associate with this story. Instead, he chose a creature of a very different character. He reached for the raven, a bird cloaked in the blackness of midnight, and sent it forth from the ark's window. The raven's mission was shrouded in mystery from the very start. The ancient scriptures tell us that it went out to and fro until the waters were dried up from the earth. Unlike the dove that would follow, the raven did not return to the safety of the ark. It flew out into a landscape of devastation, a world still grappling with the aftermath of divine judgment. Its journey was not one of bringing back good news, but of bearing witness to the stark reality of the world as it was. It soared over the murky waters, a solitary figure against a gray sky, its purpose seemingly fulfilled amidst the remnants of a former world. Its independence was immediate and absolute. Why did this remarkable bird not return? One can imagine the practical reasons. The raven is a natural scavenger, a supreme opportunist. As the waters lowered, the carcasses of creatures that had not found refuge in the ark would have become exposed. For the raven, this grim landscape was not a barren wasteland, but a source of sustenance. It found what it needed to survive in the new world, and therefore had no compelling reason to return to the confines of the ark for food or shelter. It was the first creature to reclaim its place in the wild, adapting instantly to the harsh yet life-sustaining new environment that was emerging from the depths. This act was not one of disobedience, but rather the fulfillment of a unique and solitary calling. The raven was sent out to test the state of the world, and in its disappearance, it provided an answer. Its ability to survive independently confirmed that the earth, though still recovering, was no longer entirely submerged. The raven's journey marked the true end of the deluge. It was a silent, solemn confirmation that the old world had passed away. Its flight was a powerful symbol that life, in its most rugged and resilient form, could once again find a foothold upon the land, even amidst the scenes of widespread destruction and decay. The story of the ark features not one, but two avian messengers, each with a distinct purpose that paints a fuller picture of God's plan. The raven and the dove were sent on missions that were fundamentally different, and their symbolism reflects this contrast beautifully. The raven, dark and enigmatic, was the pioneer. It was sent into a world still defined by judgment and death. Its mission was to confront the end of an era, to fly over the waters that had washed away corruption. The raven represents the unflinching reality of consequence, a necessary acknowledgement of the world that was lost before a new one could be born. It is a symbol of assessment, of surveying the stark aftermath of a great and terrible event. The dove, on the other hand, embodies a completely different message. Sent out after the raven, its role was not to survey the end, but to announce a new beginning. When it first returned, it found no place to rest, signifying that the time was not yet right. But on its second journey, it came back with a freshly plucked olive leaf in its beak. This small branch was a profound symbol of renewal, peace, and restoration. It was tangible proof that life was re-emerging from the soil, that God's covenant of peace was taking root. The dove therefore became an enduring emblem of hope, new life, and the promise of a fresh start, a gentle messenger of divine grace. The differences in their natures are also significant. The raven is a robust and self-reliant creature. It is a scavenger that can thrive in the harshest of conditions, finding sustenance where others would find only desolation. This made it perfectly suited for its mission to explore a world in transition. Its ability to live amidst the carrion speaks to its role as a creature that exists on the boundary between life and death. It cleanses the old to make way for the new. The raven's journey reminds us that before renewal, there must be a reckoning with what is past. It is the necessary, if somber, first step towards healing. In contrast, the dove is a gentler bird, often associated with domesticity and tranquility. Its return to the ark speaks of a need for a safe and hospitable environment. Its mission was to find signs of a world reborn, a place where life could flourish peacefully once more. The raven's mission was complete when it found it could survive on its own, signaling the end of the flood's dominion. The dove's mission was complete when it brought back proof of a world ready for a new covenant. Together, these two birds tell a complete story. The raven confirms the end of judgment, and the dove announces the beginning of mercy and new life. The raven's role as a divine instrument appears again, centuries later, in another powerful biblical story. This time, it serves not as a scout, but as a lifeline for one of God's most formidable prophets, Elijah. During a time of severe drought and famine, brought on as a judgment against the wicked King Ahab and Queen Jezebel, Elijah was instructed by God to hide by the brook Cherith. Here, in this isolated refuge, God promised to provide for him in a most unusual way. He did not send angels or faithful followers to sustain his prophet. Instead, he commanded the ravens to feed him, a task that defied all human logic and religious law. According to the ancient laws given to the Israelites, the raven was listed among the unclean birds. It was considered ritually impure, a creature to be avoided. Yet, in a stunning display of his sovereignty, God chose this very bird to perform a sacred and life-giving duty. Every morning and every evening, these dark-winged creatures arrived with provisions. They brought Elijah bread and meat, sustaining him in his solitude and protecting him from the king who sought his life. This remarkable act demonstrates that God's ways are not our ways. He is not confined by our human categories of clean and unclean, worthy and unworthy. His power can operate through the most unexpected channels. The intelligence and nature of the raven make it a fascinating choice for this task. Ravens are known to be among the most intelligent birds in the world. They are capable of complex problem-solving, planning for the future, and even using tools. They are also known to form strong social bonds and work cooperatively. This innate intelligence suggests that they were not mere automatons but active participants in God's plan. They were tasked with a specific mission, to locate food and deliver it to a specific person at a specific time, and they carried it out with perfect consistency. This story elevates the raven from a mere symbol to an active agent of divine providence. This narrative involving Elijah deepens our understanding of the raven's spiritual significance. It shows that God can use what the world deems lowly, impure, or insignificant to accomplish his greatest purposes. The raven, a scavenger associated with death, becomes a purveyor of life. This beautiful paradox serves as a powerful lesson. It teaches us that no one and nothing is beyond the reach of God's purpose. He can transform the unlikely into the essential, using the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. The raven's service to Elijah is a testament to a God who sees value and potential where we see none. The stories of the raven, both in Noah's Ark and with the prophet Elijah, offer us profound lessons that resonate even today. Perhaps the most important is that God can use anyone, regardless of their background or perceived importance. The raven, an unclean bird and a lonely scavenger, was chosen for two critical missions. It reminds us that we should never underestimate our own potential or the potential of others. Those who feel overlooked, different, or undervalued may be precisely the ones God has chosen for a unique and vital purpose. Our worth is not determined by worldly standards, but by our availability to serve a higher calling. Furthermore, the raven's work highlights the dignity of humble tasks. In a world that often celebrates only the glamorous and the visible, the raven's role was anything but. Its mission in Noah's story was to navigate a landscape of death, a task that might seem grim or unimportant. Yet, this act of scavenging and surviving was indispensable. It confirmed that the world was becoming habitable again. Similarly, its role as a food courier for Elijah was a simple, repetitive act of service. These stories teach us that small, seemingly insignificant tasks, when done in service of a greater good, have immense value. True purpose is often found not in the spotlight but in quiet, faithful service. The raven's departure from the ark also teaches a powerful lesson about stepping out in faith. While the ark represented safety, security, and comfort, the raven's calling was in the world beyond. It had to leave the familiar to fulfill its mission. Sometimes our greatest growth and purpose are found when we are willing to venture outside our comfort zones. True faith is not about remaining in a safe harbor forever, but about having the courage to fly into the unknown, trusting that we will be sustained. The raven's journey is a call to embrace the challenges that lie beyond the safety of what we know. Finally, the raven's story is one of new beginnings born from endings. Its flight over the floodwaters was a symbol that the old world had passed away, paving the way for a new one. It represents the necessary process of closure that must happen before renewal can begin. When we face endings in our own lives, whether it is the end of a job, a relationship, or a particular season, it can feel like a desolate landscape. But the raven reminds us that even in the midst of what looks like destruction, there is the potential for new life and a new purpose to emerge. It is a symbol of resilience, adaptation, and the hopeful truth that every sunset is a prelude to a dawn.